Okay, so now let's move to lesson 2, listening and speaking. Now, by the end of the lesson, learners will be able to answer multiple choice questions, identifying the functions of speech, use crime-related vocabulary, use passive voice, talk about the environment issues, decision-making, reaching a decision, or persuading and convincing. All right. Um, we start with part 1, listening. Now, I would like you to read each statement and decide which two things each speaker is doing. Choose from the functions. Okay? All right. So the function here, we have a lot of functions, right? Admitting function, complaining function, inquiring function, guessing function, informing, predicting, promising, seeking permission, suggesting, or warning. All right, so I would like you to read the 5 statements and then decide which two things each speaker is doing. All right, yes. So it's time for you. Now let's check, please. Okay, so number 1, the speaker is admitting and promising. All right. Number 2, the speaker is complaining and suggesting. Number 3, the speaker is inquiring and seeking permission. Number 4, the speaker is informing and guessing. Number 5, okay, predicting and warning. All right. So can you guess all correct answers? All right, well done. Now let's move to the next. B, read the exam close up, then listen to the statement and circle the correct function. All right, so you can open your book on exam close up and then you can identify the function of speech. Okay, so in tasks that focus on the functions of people's speech, it is important to concentrate on why someone is speaking, as it will show you the purpose. All right, concentrate on phrases or expressions that are used to express the function rather than on individual words. If you focus on individual words, you hear, especially if the same words are written in the options, you could be missed, right? Okay, now, so we can say here, all right, now you will listen to 5 different statements and then circle the correct function that the speaker is doing, okay? It's time for you to listen, right? Now, let's check. Number 1, okay, informing. Number 2, okay. Number 5, or number 3, predicting. Number 4, discouraging. And number 5, admitting. Okay. So now let's continue with C, listen and complete the exam task. Alright, so here is the exam task. You will hear 5 people talking about environmental issues. For questions from number 1 to number 5, choose from the list from A to 8 what each person is doing. Okay, you can use the letters only once. There are 3 extra letters which you do not need to use. Alright, now it's time for you to start listening. Okay. Now let's check. All right. So you will listen again and then check your answers. Okay. Speaker 1, which you suggesting a way to become more environmentally friendly. Okay. Speaker 2, complaining about lack of action. Speaker 3, inquiring about a safety issue. Speaker 4, informing about a natural event. And speaker 5, okay, discouraging someone from doing something. Okay. Now let's move to part 2, speaking. Right, we have just finished part 1, listening, and now we are ready to move to part 2, speaking. Before we start with speaking vocabulary or speaking skills, so we will start with vocabulary first, okay? Okay, the vocabulary today is about the environment. Now, there are many different words referring to features of environment. Here are some arranged on small to large scales, okay? So you see here, can you see it? All right. Okay, a brook, stream, river, copse, wood, forest, hillock, hill, mountain, puddle, pond, lake, cover, bay, gulf, footpath, lane, road. All right. Okay. So here we should pay attention to the use of the with features of the environment. All right. So remember that with countries we do not use article the. For example, France. Okay, we say France, we say Vietnam. We do not say the France or the Vietnam. All right, when it is the country. Okay, so countries which are in a plural form, yes. Okay, so countries which are in a plural form, yes. For example, we say the USA, so United States of America, right? So it is a plural form. So we need to use the, okay, before the country. The countries when limited by time. All right, yes, we use the, okay, before the country when limited by time, like the Spain of today, okay, limited by time today. All right, and individual mountains, no, okay, so the name of individual mountain, no, like Mount Everest, okay, mountains in the Bernese Oberland, yes, okay, for example, the Jungfrau, mountain chains, yes, okay, islands, no, groups of islands, yes, okay, rivers, yes, ocean, yes, sea, yes, gulfs, bays, and strait, yes, lakes, no, okay, and current, yes, all right. Yeah, so be careful about the use of the article the with features of the environment. All right, now I would like you to look at this encyclopedia in entry about island and note any words that refer to particular features of the environment. Okay, so it's time for you to read and note down the particular features of the environment. Okay, so now here are some other nouns which are useful when talking about the environment. Now I would like you to check their meanings with a dictionary if necessary. Okay, do you understand all the meanings of the nouns? All right, very good. If you don't understand any, so you can stop the video and look it up on the dictionary, right? Okay, there are many environmental problems in the world today. Check with a dictionary if you do not know any of the terms below. Okay, so here we have many terms, right, related to environmental problems. Okay, So you can check the pronunciation as well as the meaning in the dictionary in order to understand, okay, about the meaning of all the environmental problems, right? Now let's move to part 2, speaking. Right, we have just finished part 1, listening, and now we are ready to move to part 2, speaking. Okay, now, so we can say here, all right, now you will listen to 5 different statements and then circle the correct function that the speaker is doing, okay? It's time for you to listen, right? Now, let's check. Number 1, okay, informing. Number 2, okay. Number 3, predicting. Number 4, discouraging. And number 5, admitting, okay. So now let's move to exercise number 3. Can you answer the following general knowledge questions about the environment? Okay, so there are 6 different questions for you. Now I would like you to work in pairs. All right, you can find down your friends and take turns to make question and answer the question. For example, in the first turn, okay, student A will make question, student B will answer. And then move to the second turn, student B will make question and student 1 will answer. Okay, so let's start. All right, so here are the answer for you. Okay, so please check the answers and compare to your answers. Okay, whether you are correct all or not. Right, now let's move to exercise number 4. Complete the paragraph below about your own country or any other country that interests you. Remember to use article the whenever it is necessary. Okay, time for you. Now let's check. Right, number 1, Scotland. Number 2, country. Number 3, the north of Britain. Number 4, mountainous. Number 5, flatter. Number 6, agriculture. Number 7, Scotland. Number 8, the Clyde. Number 9, the Western Highlands. Number 10, Ben Nevis. Number 11, overfishing. And number 12, Scotland. Okay. Now let's move to exercise number 5. In this exercise, you need to give 2 nouns to go with the adjectives below. Try not to repeat any of the nouns you choose. Okay. For example, we say sandy beach or sandy shore. All right. Yes. So what about either number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, and 6? Okay. So try to find 2 nouns that can go with each adjective here. Okay. Now time for you. Okay, let's check. Here are some suggested answers for you. Okay, so you can see whether you have the same answers or different answers. Okay, right? Okay. So let's move exercise. Let's move to exercise number 6. Why do environmentalists say we should avoid spray cans, practice organic farming, and use unleaded petrol, recycled paper, and bottle banks? What else are they in favor of? Okay, so now I would like you to work in pairs, discuss the 2 questions together, and then we will come back. Okay, time for you. All right. Let's move to speaking practice. Okay, so in section A, I would like you to find a partner. Okay, ask and answer the questions together. All right. Question number 1: how can people your age help the environment? Have you ever taken part in an environment project? If so, what kind of project was it? Do you think enough is being done in your local area to help the environment? Why or why not? Okay. Now let's work with your partner. Work in pairs, please. All right, let's move to section B. Now, I would like you to complete the table below with ways your family's everyday habits damage the environment and ways they help the environment. Okay? So in the first in the first column or in the column on the right, all right, on the left, okay, you will write down the name of the habit that every day your family damage the environment. And here, okay, on the right, the ways that your family help the environment. Okay, time for you. Now, I would like you to discuss with your partner the habits you noted. Okay, you have just noted down, all right, on your table, and explain how they affect the environment. Do you have any that are similar to each other? Okay, you may use some useful expressions here for you to persuade or to convince your friend, okay, your partner. All right, yes. So let's start your discussion, please. Okay, so now let's move to practice section C. Now continue to discuss with your partner the habits you noted and explain how they affect the environment. Do you have any that similar? All right. So here are some the thing that you should reach a decision, okay, at the end of the discussion. All right. So when trying to reach a decision, try to make your ideas convincing to your partner. Explain why you think something is or isn't a good choice in order to persuade them to agree with you. Right? Okay. Continue with speaking practice. Right. So now I would like you to read the exam close up in your textbook, then work in pairs and complete the exam task here. Okay. You can use the useful expression that I have just shown you to help. Okay. Yes. So here is the exam task, right? Okay. Now it's time for you. Okay, let's move to idea focus. Alright, so now I would like you to answer the two questions. Question 1, why is it important to have green areas in big cities? And question number 2, what could young people learn by working for a voluntary environmental organization? Right? Okay, now we will move to part 3, exam practice. Alright, lesson 6. Dialogues involving suggestions, invitations, offers, and requests. Okay, so here are some useful structures that you can use to make suggestions. All right, yeah. And then, okay, when you want to give a positive responses, you can use either phrases or structures. And here are the ways that you can use to give negative responses. Okay. Yeah. Continue with this. Okay. So it's for you to maybe sample item. All right. So you will hear this dialogue. This okay, and then you will need to answer this question, multiple choice. All right. So based on what you have just hearing, what you have just heard. Sorry. Okay. So now you will choose the correct options, okay, to answer this question. And here is the correct answer. Because, all right, you can see the explanation here. All right. Okay. So here we'll have the suggestions, okay, or the suggested structures, phrases or sentences that you can use to make invitations, to give positive responses or to give negative responses. Okay, you can copy all of them and then you can apply them when you speak, right? Okay, so here is also a sample item that you can copy and then try to understand, okay, the way that we can use to explain, okay, about the correct answer when you hear something. All right, and similar to the previous slides, we also give you some structures, okay, that you can use when making offers, giving positive responses or giving negative responses. You can copy and learn it, okay, later. And then, okay, when you want to give a positive responses, you can use either phrases or structures. Okay, yeah. So it's also some structures that you can use to make requests, to give a positive responses, to give a negative responsive also. Okay, yeah. To copy, okay, all the sample items. Now let's move to exercise 6.1, focus. Identifying suggestions, invitations, offers, and requests and responses to them. All right. Now here, listen to the following dialogues. Decide which of the two choices best completes the sentence and mark the appropriate space. All right. Okay. Now start the listening program. We have a question from number 1 to number 4. Okay, now let's check. Number 1, okay, the man is declining an offer. Number 2, the woman is accepting an invitation. Number 3, the woman is making a suggestion. Number 4, Mark is agreeing to a request. Right? All right, let's move to section B. Now, I would like you to complete the table below with ways your family's everyday habits damage the environment and ways they help the environment. Okay? So, in the first Okay, so in the first column or in the column on the right, all right, on the left, okay, you will write down the name of the habit that every day your family damage the environment. And here, okay, on the right, the ways that your family. All right, let's move to from number 11 to number 13. Okay, after you listen, please compare to the answers. Okay, 11A, okay, 12B, and 13A, right? Okay, now let's move to exercise 6.2. Listen to the following dialogue. Decide which choice, A, B, C, or D, best answer the question about the dialogues and mark the appropriate answer. Okay, now start the listening. All right, let's check the answer. Okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, right? Okay, what about number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, okay? And number 9, number 10, number 11, and number 12, right? Okay, so now we will move to exam practice speaking. All right, so we start with speaking part 1. Okay, now I would like two of you to work in pairs, take turns to ask and answer the questions together. Okay, it's time for you. Right, let's move to speaking part 2. Okay, before you talk about this topic, all right, you will have a 1 minute to prepare. Okay, you can write down on your paper. Okay, if you want, and after 1 minute of preparation, so you will need to speak for between 1 or 2 minutes. All right, yes, and here is the topic. Okay. Okay, now we will move to part 3, exam practice. All right, lesson 6.